The Duchess of Cambridge's parents, Carole and Michael Middleton, have left the hospital.
Kate Middleton's mother isn't the royal family member you think she is.
Carole Middleton stunned everyone with an unexpected fiery move against Queen Camilla that no one saw coming. Once content to stay in the shadows, Carole now steps into the spotlight, exposing secrets and causing a stir among royal watchers. Tune in as the royal drama unfolds, and brace yourself. This story is far from over. When politeness turns to power plays. Back when Catherine, Princess of Wales, first got involved with Prince William, Carole Middleton worked hard to fit her family into the royal fold. She played her cards right, always polite, always presentable, but underneath, things weren't as smooth as they looked. The monarch's consort may have acted all friendly at first, but sources say she wasn't exactly thrilled about Kate's background. Let's be real, the Middletons weren't aristocracy, and that probably didn't sit well with someone from old money circles who had been around royal life for decades. Behind the palace walls, whispers hinted at a quiet power play shaping the monarchy's future. Over time, the polite smiles and occasional dinners turned into cold stares and curt exchanges. The tension started small, with little digs and passive-aggressive comments. The consort would make remarks about how things were done in the old days, clearly implying that Carole and her family were outsiders who didn't quite belong. Carole, to her credit, bit her tongue and didn't react publicly, but it's clear the resentment was brewing for years. By the time Kate and William's wedding was on the horizon, things got even messier. Carole wanted to help plan her daughter's big day, as any mother would, but the Queen's spouse apparently saw this as stepping on her toes. Being part of the royal establishment, the consort felt it was her role to oversee everything, while Carole just wanted to make sure Kate had the perfect day. It wasn't long before palace insiders started noticing the friction. They described a thick tension at meetings and events, with both women trying to outmaneuver each other without causing a public scene. Fast forward a few years, and the relationship between the Queen's partner and Carole has gone from bad to worse. What started as subtle jabs escalated into full-blown power plays. The consort reportedly tried to limit Carole's access to Kate and the grandkids, using influence to control who got invited to certain royal events. Carole wasn't having any of it. She stayed close to Kate, offering support and making sure her daughter didn't feel isolated. But what really set things off was the Queen's spouse's attempt to influence Kate's role as a royal. Sources say pressure was applied to get Kate to take on more traditional duties and act more like the reserved, subservient royal wives of the past. Carole, always protective of her daughter, felt this was out of line. She didn't raise Kate to be a shrinking violet, and she wasn't about to let anyone, not even the Queen consort, change who Kate was. Then came the moment that shook the palace. Carole, fed up with the underhanded tactics, decided it was time to speak out. She made a bold statement, revealing details about the Queen's behavior and exposing the years of tension that had been bubbling under the surface. The revelation sent shockwaves through royal circles. People close to the family couldn't believe Carole had broken her usual silence. Insiders say Carole's bombshell was a long time coming. She had put up with a lot over the years, from subtle snubs to outright exclusion. The final straw was when she felt the consort's actions were starting to affect Kate's happiness. Carole had always prioritized her family, and she wasn't going to let royal politics get in the way of that. As news of Carole's statement spread, the palace reportedly went into damage control mode. Aides and advisors scrambled to contain the fallout, while members of the royal family tried to stay out of the fray. Prince William, caught between his wife's family and his stepmother, was said to be furious. He had always had a complicated relationship with the Queen's spouse, and this latest drama didn't help matters. Kate, meanwhile, was reportedly devastated. She had worked hard to maintain a cordial relationship with the Queen consort, despite the tension between her mother and the monarch's partner. Hearing that her mother felt compelled to speak out was a tough pill to swallow. Kate knew things weren't perfect, but she hadn't realized just how bad they had gotten. Prince Charles, now king, was said to be in denial about the whole thing. He had always known his spouse had a strong personality, but he didn't think it would lead to such public drama. He tried to downplay the situation, but as more details emerged, it became clear this wasn't something that could be swept under the rug. As for Queen Elizabeth, those close to her said she was heartbroken. She valued loyalty and discretion above all else, and seeing this kind of public fallout was deeply upsetting. The Queen had always tried to keep family matters private, and Carole's decision to go public went against everything the monarchy stood for. Despite the royal family's attempts to stay silent, the media frenzy didn't die down. Headlines speculated about what Carole would say next and whether the Queen's spouse would respond. The public was divided. Some saw Carole as a protective mother standing up for her daughter, while others viewed her as someone stirring up unnecessary drama. Behind the scenes, the palace became a battlefield. The consort reportedly demanded that Carole be cut off from royal events. But William and Kate weren't about to let that happen. They stood by Carole, insisting that she remain part of their lives and their children's lives. It was a bold move, but it showed where their loyalties lay. The feud didn't just affect the Middleton and Windsor families. It had wider implications for the monarchy. With the consort's reputation taking a hit and tensions running high, questions were raised about the future of the royal family. Could they move past this drama? Or was this just the beginning of a new era of royal scandals? For now, the palace gates remain closed, and the royal family is keeping tight-lipped. But behind those walls, the tension is palpable. Carole Middleton's decision to speak out has changed the game, and it's clear that things will never be the same again. Whether this feud will eventually fizzle out or escalate even further remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: the royal family is once again in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. The public may never know all the details of what goes on behind palace doors, but one thing's for sure: Carole Middleton isn't backing down, and the Queen's spouse isn't one to take things lying down. This royal saga is far from over, and if history is anything to go by, there are plenty more twists and turns to come. As the royal family braced themselves for the fallout, the media kept digging for more. Reports surfaced about past incidents that hinted at the long-standing tension between Carole and the Queen's partner. Friends of Carole recalled moments when she had felt slighted by the consort's dismissive attitude. Meanwhile, supporters of the Queen painted Carole as overbearing and unwilling to respect royal traditions. With rising tensions and the holiday season near, the royal family braced for a gathering that promised anything but calm. A royal moment sparks public outcry. When it comes to royal family Christmas traditions, things aren't always as picture-perfect as they might seem. This year's holiday walk in Sandringham stirred up a wave of reactions, and not just because of the festive cheer. The highlight? A tense moment involving Queen Camilla and little Prince Louis, who, with his lively antics, managed to steal both the show and the headlines, but not necessarily in a way that pleased everyone. Picture this: the royals stepping out of the church, dressed to the nines, with the media capturing every second. All eyes were on the young prince, as they often are when he's around. Known for his playful nature, Louis didn't hold back during the traditional walk. He jumped, waved, made faces, basically being a spirited 5-year-old. But this time, his usual charm seemed to rub Camilla the wrong way. Observers caught what looked like a moment of visible frustration from the Queen. Cue the public reaction, and it wasn't mild. Social media exploded with the hashtag #SavePrinceLouis and a flurry of opinions about how children should be allowed to act, even in the royal spotlight. Fans rushed to defend Louis, pointing out that he was just being a kid. After all, who can blame a young boy for getting a little excited during a holiday event? Yet, some critics argued that it might be time for the young prince to learn how to dial down his exuberance, given the constant media scrutiny surrounding the royal family. It's not exactly news that royal children live under a magnifying glass. Every move, every smile, every misstep gets analyzed and, often, criticized. For Louis, this isn't the first time he's drawn attention. He's known for his energetic personality and spontaneous actions, which have made him a fan favorite, but also a subject of debate. Remember the Platinum Jubilee? Louis was front and center, charming the crowd with his cheeky antics, from covering his ears during the loud moments to waving enthusiastically at well-wishers. People loved it. It was refreshing, real, and undeniably adorable. Fast forward to King Charles's coronation, and Louis once again grabbed headlines with his lively behavior, making faces and interacting with the crowd in ways that were both endearing and headline-worthy. But this Christmas walk moment felt different. Camilla's reaction, whether it was a brief flicker of annoyance or something more, sparked a wider conversation about how royals, especially children, should behave in public. Supporters of a more modern approach to royal parenting praised William and Kate for their gentle parenting style, which emphasizes understanding and respecting children's emotions. This approach, which stands in contrast to the rigid upbringing of past generations, encourages kids to be themselves while gently guiding them through life's formalities. Kate and William have been vocal about wanting their children to have as normal a childhood as possible. They're often seen participating in everyday activities with their kids, from soccer games to simple family outings. Their goal? To let George, Charlotte, and Louis grow up as grounded individuals, despite the royal titles and responsibilities looming over them. Critics of Camilla's reaction suggested that she might not fully grasp the importance of this more relaxed approach. After all, the times have changed. The days when royal children were expected to sit quietly, hands folded, and expressions neutral are long gone, or at least they should be. Many argued that Louis's lively nature brings a sense of warmth and relatability to the otherwise stiff world of royalty. Why stifle that just to maintain an outdated sense of decorum? On the flip side, there were those who felt that Louis's behavior, while natural, needed a bit of reining in. Public events, especially ones involving the royal family, come with a certain level of expectation. Sure, kids will be kids, but when you're in line for the throne, the stakes are a bit higher. The argument here is that Louis, adorable as he may be, needs to start learning how to balance his playful spirit with the decorum expected of a royal. This isn't just about Louis, though. It's about the future of the monarchy and how it chooses to present itself to the world. With younger royals like William and Kate adopting a more modern, relatable approach, there's a clear shift happening. But not everyone in the royal fold seems ready to embrace this change. Camilla, who has spent years carving out her place in the royal family, might see this as a challenge to the traditional values she's tried to uphold. Public reaction to the incident revealed a divide in how people view the monarchy. On one hand, there's a growing call for modernization, for a royal family that feels more in touch with the everyday lives of the people they represent. On the other, there's a lingering sense of tradition, with some believing that certain standards must be maintained, even if they feel outdated. Regardless of where one stands, it's clear that moments like these offer a glimpse into the evolving dynamics of the royal family. How they handle public perception, internal tensions, and the balance between tradition and modernity will shape their future. For now, Louis remains a bright, spirited presence in the royal lineup, a reminder that even in the most formal of settings, a little bit of youthful energy can go a long way. After the holiday walk stirred up reactions, the royals faced new questions about parenting and tradition, the future king and his siblings. The royal family's approach to parenting has become a talking point over the years, especially with William and Kate's evident efforts to raise their children differently from previous generations. Gentle parenting, the method they reportedly follow, focuses on understanding and communication rather than strict discipline. This means Louis, George, and Charlotte are given room to express themselves while being guided with patience and respect. During public outings, this parenting style has been evident in how William and Kate manage their children's behavior. Instead of reprimanding them harshly, they are often seen kneeling to speak to them at eye level, offering calm explanations and guidance. This approach has been praised by many parenting experts, who argue that it fosters a sense of security and confidence in children. Prince George, being the eldest, has already started to take on more responsibility in public appearances. He's often seen behaving in a composed manner, aware of the expectations placed on him as a future king. Charlotte, with her poised demeanor and occasional playful moments, strikes a balance between formality and childhood innocence. Louis, on the other hand, remains the family's wild card, full of energy, mischief, and charm. Instances like the Christmas walk incident highlight the challenges of raising children in the public eye. Every parent knows how unpredictable young kids can be, especially in formal settings. Add the pressure of global attention, and it's a recipe for occasional awkward moments. But many believe that these moments make the royals more relatable. After all, who hasn't dealt with a restless child during an important event? Despite the criticisms, there's a growing appreciation for William and Kate's efforts to let their children have a semblance of a normal childhood. They attend regular schools, participate in common extracurricular activities, and are often seen engaging in playful interactions with their parents. This hands-on approach is a departure from the more distant parenting style traditionally associated with the royal family. Historically, royal children were raised primarily by nannies, with limited interaction with their parents. Queen Elizabeth II and her siblings, for instance, spent much of their early years in the care of governesses and household staff. The emotional distance in royal upbringing was often seen as a way to prepare children for the formalities and duties of royal life. William and Kate's approach, however, reflects a shift towards a more modern and involved style of parenting. They are frequently photographed participating in their children's activities, from outdoor adventures to school runs. This not only helps their children stay grounded, but also paints a more relatable picture of the royal family for the public. Camilla's perceived reaction to Louis during the Christmas walk may have been a momentary lapse, but it sparked a broader conversation about the balance between tradition and modernity in the monarchy. As a stepmother to William and Harry, and now a grandmother figure to their children, Camilla's role in the family has always been under scrutiny. Every gesture, every expression is dissected by both the media and the public. In recent years, Camilla has worked hard to carve out a positive image, focusing on charitable work and supporting causes close to her heart. She has taken on numerous royal duties, often appearing alongside King Charles. Despite initial public resistance to her role, she has gradually gained respect for her dedication and work ethic. However, moments like the Christmas walk incident remind us that public perception can be fickle. While many have come to accept Camilla's place in the royal family, there are still those who remain critical, especially when it comes to interactions involving the younger generation of royals. This incident also brought to light the differences in how various members of the royal family approach public engagements. While William and Kate seem comfortable allowing their children to express themselves more freely, older generations, including Charles and Camilla, may still adhere to the traditional expectations of decorum. The contrasting approaches reflect a broader generational shift within the monarchy. As younger royals take on more prominent roles, there is an ongoing effort to modernize the institution and make it more relevant to contemporary society. This includes not only changes in public engagement, but also in how royal children are raised and presented to the world. Despite the occasional controversies, it's clear that the public has a soft spot for the younger royals, especially the children. Moments of spontaneity, like Louis's antics during public events, are often met with smiles and laughter. They provide a glimpse of normalcy in an otherwise highly controlled environment. Does modernizing the monarchy bring it closer to the people or strip away its mystique? Share your opinion below, like, comment, and subscribe for more intriguing discussions like this.